Hello world, I'm Miyah, and I would like to welcome you to the latest episode of my blog series. The main purpose of my blogs right now is to talk about what it is like for me to live with an autism spectrum disorder. Most recently, an autism spectrum disorder for me would have been Asperger's syndrome, but thanks to the DSM manual, it's now an autism spectrum disorder. One, I don't mind being called autistic because Dr. Temple Grandin herself lives on the spectrum, and she embraces being autistic, and she travels around the world and tells other people to work around their problems and look for specific autistic traits that they can turn into careers and turn into things that might be useful for other people. She also gives examples of people in past history like Albert Einstein and Steve Jobs, and she's questioned whether or not they lived on the spectrum because they seem to carry the traits. But on the other hand, they're using the term disorder, they use the term disorder, and that's just a very negative term. And I don't really consider myself disorderly, and I'm not disabled. What I have is a human detouring system, and so do most others on the autism spectrum. And meaning we have to work around our problems to get to where we want to be. Now that path may be longer for us than it is for any neurotypical, but that shouldn't stop us from going where we want to be. Anyway, I also like to give advice on how I tackle problems, and also like to inform others on the spectrum how to handle a neurotypical when they're playing being a pain in the butt. And when they don't really understand where we're coming from, and if they don't seem to want us around, or if they're talking down to us or taking us seriously. But in this video, I'm going to talk about what it is like for me to live on the autism spectrum versus living independently. Now, I most recently took a class a couple years ago on multicultural psychology and the issues in this country, and they've talked about that there is a system in place that puts it out as to who should have power and who should have privileges. For instance, we have a system where we have a white security guard working in a shopping mall late at night, and they happen to see a white person walk by after shopping for after shopping at, I'd say, Macy's or Belk's, and the security guard will have no problem. But if a black person walks by, the security guard is going to look suspiciously at the African American and automatically accuse him of committing robbery or ask him, "Could I help you with something? Can I? Are you lost?" And constantly follow them around. And it's the same situation for me, but not as a parent. My situation is much more invisible. For instance, I've mentioned to people that I live on the autism spectrum, and rather than ask me what I have done to achieve myself, they're more interested in what services I'm getting. And I'll give you an example. I had applied for a job back in October of last year, and during the entire interview, I had mentioned to the lady that I had Asperger syndrome in case she was going to hire me, so that she would be aware of my situation. And rather than trying to understand me, she kept asking me all kinds of inappropriate questions like, "Do you have a social worker? Where are your parents? Are you sure you aren't getting any kind of modifications or services? Are you living in a group home?" And I constantly seem to get that everywhere. Other ones that I seem to get is, "Now I know you don't stay by yourself, do you?" And I think to myself, listen, I really appreciate your concerns, but I don't think it is really any of your business as to what I'm doing and how I'm living my life. See, again, that's a neurotypical plain being a pain in the butt. And and you know, and that's because they refuse to get themselves educated. So again, for those of you that are going to sit there and ask those kinds of questions to us, first off, mind your own business, and if you're really interested, go and learn everything that you can about people on the spectrum, and stop looking at us like we're disabled, because we're not. So, until next time, I'm Miyah Sundermeyer, and I'm signing off now. Bye.